Holy moly, guys, they just released the name of the next new legendary character, Thunderstrike, coming from Strike Force. This is somebody that people have been guessing it was going to be. This could have some big Asgardian implications. I have not seen this video yet. I am super excited, so let's go ahead and let Pathfinder take it away.
In the aftermath of Blastar's reign, a new thunder roars across the battlefield. Thunderstrike has arrived, and when he joins forces with Blastar, the storm becomes unstoppable. But what makes this duo so dangerous? Today, we're breaking down Thunderstrike's full kit, and we sit down with our combat designer Byron to find out how this hammer-wielding powerhouse was built to shake up the Cosmic Crucible meta. Now,
a second Cosmic Crucible legendary character? Thank God! We've all been saying how terrible Blastar is. Is he actually going to make Blastar useful? Will he make it so you cannot stop his turn meter gain? Will Professor X finally get the fuck out of my Crucibles? Oh my God, here we go.
Cue that intro.
Pretty good intro. I think they should update it still, though.
Greetings, Commanders. I am Pathfinder, and today we have Byron on the show to discuss Thunderstrike. Byron, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be doing another spot with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to have you back. The last time you were here talking about the Hellfire Club. So today we're talking about the next legendary character in Thunderstrike.
Yeah.
So let's get into Thunderstrike. So first off,
Jizzled jawline. Let's freaking go, dude. Hero Global Mystic, support Asgardian. He's a support Asgardian Legendary War. I don't know how I feel about support. We got 3 wicked abilities, Sands of Fourth. Looks like they're favoring Striker here at the very least. I don't know how I feel about support. I mean, Blastar definitely needs some support, so I guess so.
For those commanders at home who don't know who Thunderstrike is, what can you tell us about him?
So Thunderstrike was just regular Joe Schmo in Universe 616, but he got caught up in one of Thor's climactic battles. Actually helped him out, but he ended up losing his life over it. However, Odin being so impressed with just some random mortal helping out his son the way he did, he kind of merged Thor and Eric Masterson together. So Eric Masterson got access to Thor's thunder and lightning abilities. Eventually, Thor had to go away for a while. He wielded Mjolnir for a hot minute, but Thor returned, reclaimed Mjolnir, but he got his own hammer called Thunderstrike, which he takes his namesake from.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is there's hope for all of us to eventually become a superhero, right? Normal Joe Schmo.
Yeah, but do you really want to die in like a big battle? It's a bit of a coin toss at that point. I don't know.
Well, Thunderstrike is interesting in that I think for the first time we have a legendary duo who work better when they're together. So what made the team decide to do this for Thunderstrike and Blastar?
A lot of it has to do with the fact that we were designing Thunderstrike for Crucible, but we didn't want Thunderstrike to replace Blastar in the game. I mean, Blastar is still a pretty recent character. He's a lot of fun to play with. So it's like, well, instead of creating a character that you play in opposition to Blastar, why don't we design a character that's supposed to work with him and just really lean into it?
Okay, so I do want to make note of an Easter egg that was apparently in the last Strike Spot video where they were talking about Blastar and they were asking, or somebody asked, how do you guys feel about Blastar? And they said, Blastar's performing where we want him to. And I'm sitting here, and you're probably sitting here going, Blastar is trash in Crucible. What are you talking about? Like, he can never actually get the kills he needs to get the kills on against the teams that he can actually get speed bar on. And all these teams he can't get speed bar on, he dies. He's awful. He's a trash character. And then Pathfinder was like, well, maybe there'll be an update on that soon. And I took that just to mean they were going to run his event again pretty soon. Everyone's going to get the 7 red 7 yellow star. And then you'd get to see what he's actually capable of. Which, by the way, not anything special. I even put Purple Ice to 5 in him. And I'm still not loving Blastar. So I guess this was that Easter egg, which is just my way of saying we need to keep a closer eye on Path Daddy. All right? That guy is giving away too many Easter eggs and strike spots. We cannot let it stand. So we got to make sure we're keeping an ear out on this one.
Okay, and we're gonna learn a bunch of different stuff about Thunderstrike today. So let's start by diving into his passive. So what makes his passive so special?
Well, the big part of it is that he's got an attack on his passive. So whenever he or any of his allies get attacked, he's gonna retaliate with his own attack against the attacker. So it deals damage, but more importantly, there's also a health steal attached to the attack that heals himself and his Blastar ally.
Oh wow, so every time he gets attacked, he's not only going to be dealing damage, which he's going to have pretty stacked damage, but he's also getting additional health steal from characters. That's really cool. What other cool?
By the way, if this character's passive doesn't end with Blastar cannot have his speed bar stopped, I will be skeptical, to say the least, about this double legendary. This would be the first time we've had like a legendary character power combo. And honestly, if there is not a line in the kit that either says this character cannot have their speed stat altered except by positive whatever from Blastar's awakened passive, right? Or this character cannot have their speed bar halted by the enemy. Unless there is that in this kit, which I am very skeptical will be there, I do not think that Thunderstrike and Blastar are going to be very good in Cosmic Crucible. That would be super sad. So I hope I'm wrong.
Cool things are on his passive.
So he's got some powerful abilities that are only on before he takes a turn. So for example, he prevents the enemy team from increasing speed bar until he takes a turn. So if you have teams that have, on spawn, gain a bunch of speed bar, he shuts that down. But after he takes a turn, like the enemy team will be able to gain speed bar again. He also prevents his team from gaining defense down until his first turn is complete. And also attached to that, he prevents the enemy team from gaining offense up during that time. He's also there to prevent, big alpha strikes from happening.
Thunderstrike also has a really powerful ultimate ability, so why don't you give us a rundown of what his ult does?
The first thing he does is that he applies blind to a random enemy support character. Him being a Crucible character, you can probably guess who that is. Just look at the Accursed team, figure out who their support is. But probably even more powerful is whoever his primary target is for his ultimate ability is going to lose 2 ultimate ability energy. So currently in Crucible, we have a lot of characters who open up with their ultimate. It's really powerful. It sets the pacing for the match. Thunderstrike is able to essentially shut that down.
Okay, so that's pretty interesting, and I'm assuming that doesn't tie to needing Blaster on his team. That could be useful in like a Professor X attack. On the second hit, you let Professor X do his special attack. Maybe Thunderstrike is going to be a fast enough character. He can get ahead of that Professor X, take his ultimate ability energy away, and all of a sudden Professor X is using his basic on you instead on the follow-up attack. I can see that being kind of cool. A legendary character being needed after burn attack doesn't sound super hyped. Stopping speed bar before he takes a turn, we've seen that mechanic before in other characters. We have that on Falcon Joaquim and the Liberty with War Team. That was how Howard the Duck's passive used to work, and then they realized it was not powerful enough and had to make it persist through all of combat. So the fact they threw in a legendary character, I think, is a little awkward. I'm still not hearing what he would need to do to make Blastar usable in at least 5 out of 6 rooms, and that is very concerning.
His ultimate is an all attack, so usually you don't have to worry about who you're targeting with your primary on your all attack, but because he's a legendary, he's part of a duo, he's designed for Crucible offense, we want players to think about like what character are they selecting, and that's going to be really important for dictating the pacing for the matchups that he's in.
Yeah, so depending on what team you're going up against, you're really going to want to pay attention to who you're actually targeting with that attack. Even though it's an attack all, it matters based on that specific part of his kit. I think that's really cool. I also got to give props to the art team. The ultimate animation is probably one of the coolest ones I've seen.
I got mixed feelings. Because, if we did not have... So, this sort of animation started with, Penny Parker, right? And then it got expanded to other characters. I think, Peggy Carter might have one similar to it. Then Odin had one, which looks horrible. Null had one, which looks slightly better. This one does look much better. And instead of trying to be super, pop out and crazy, it's actually segmented off into, comic book panels, which I think is cool. And then I think just the hammer flying through the air also looks cool. But I'm interested to know how you guys feel about these sort of flashcard alts, I guess I would call it, or these flashcard animations. I'd be very curious to know what you guys think about them.
Ones I've seen in a while. So really excited for players to be
Like that hammer spin is cool.
seeing that as well. Jumping to his special, it also has blind. It's really focused on making his enemies miss here, which I guess makes sense with all that lightning flying around, am I right?
You're not supposed to look directly at a lightning strike. It's actually really bright.
But I want to look.
Yeah, I know, it's really cool. It's like, now it's the last thing I ever saw.
But yeah, what else can you tell us about his special?
Sure. Like you said, it blinds on primary, but if he's on Crucible offense, he's got Blastar as an ally. He'll also blind all of the adjacent targets, as well as there's another health steal attached to this. Again, he heals himself and his Blastar ally.
What are you most looking forward to about Thunderstrike, Commanders? Make sure to leave a comment down below, and if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Join our official Discord as well. Those links will be down in the description below. Let's jump back into the interview. Speaking of Blastar,
Oh, thank God. I thought that was it. I thought that was it. Okay, oh my God. I was like, no, he's trash. All right, hold on. Oh, that was scary. All right, here we go.
thing we haven't really said yet is that not only will Blastar obviously be assisting on his basic ability, but he has callouts in Thunderstrike's abilities as well, right? On the special and on the ult.
Yes, on both of those abilities, he specifically says to call a Blastar ally to attack his primary target.
Okay, and you and I were talking a little bit earlier today about what that actually means. I think it would make sense to kind of explain that here for the folks at home.
I know exactly what you're talking about. So we have a lot of characters that say like, hey, you prevent like assist chance from going off, or you prevent the assist now proc. This isn't either of those things, because this is actually through his normal action call. This assist will go through even if you're going up against a team that says you have 0% chance to assist.
Right, I mean, Accursed as a primary example of this, right? I mean, they have a call out to, you can't get any assist, but this isn't actually an assist, so Blastar will be able to still gain those stacks of bomb burst.
Yeah, so think of it more of like, you know, what Red Skull does when he was like, I call all my allies on one of his abilities to attack a single target. It's that.
Well, Thunderstrike really does seem to shine.
Okay, but there's a big difference between Blastar's assist mechanic and Blastar's passive bomb burst mechanic. On Blastar's assist mechanic, I believe he gets maybe 5% speed bar until you get the awakened. Then I think it becomes 30. So if it's doing that, then if you don't have that awakened basic, which I don't think they've sold yet, it's not really doing much for you besides giving you the bomb burst stack, which can be very impactful, assuming this guy is faster than Blastar 127, because then at least you can get one stack to Blastar. I just can't get away from the, like, there's so many characters that stop speed bar in Crucible. If Blastar can't explode on them before they do their thing, like, you're just wrecked. So I'm having a hard time getting excited at all about this, because I've not heard Thunderstrike allowing Blastar to do what Blastar wants to do. Blastar's core gameplay loop, super fun, right? Get basics off from your allies, get bomb burst stacks, hit your ultimate, reduce cooldowns, turn meter rewind, permakills, big damage, maybe do your special, AoE ability block, trauma, lots of barrier, immunity. Like, his gameplay loop is super fun, and we experience that in the Scourge mode. We do not experience that in Crucible. Crucible is a PvP game mode. Our PvP game modes do not go to turns 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They stop at turn 1. You have won or lost by the end of turn 1, unfortunately. Just the way that damage outscales defense in our game, which allows for much more simplistic kit design, as well as just like balancing numbers. And honestly, it makes for more enjoyable content. Otherwise, you'd be playing Crucible for like an hour every day, like combat wise, not even like drafting your matches. So I'm not seeing what I need to see to get excited about Blastar here. And I'm not sure I'm seeing what I would need to see from Thunderstrike to get excited about him as a plug and play character. Maybe he's going to have a super fast speed stat. He does seem to have an ability like Blade, where it'll blind the primary and adjacent, so that's pretty cool. He will blind supports. Am I crazy? Doesn't Satanic clear blind before she does her attack? I could be absolutely off base on that. I probably am. That's definitely not something they would have missed. I'm just not seeing the vision right now on how to make this exciting. I think for the top end people who play Crucible, is kind of a nothing burger. And for everybody else, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be really fun. But if you strive for competition, I don't know how you get excited about this. Like, is this going to help you kill the Phoenix Force team easier? Yeah. I mean, you're stopping speed bars. So, if there's an Omega Red and there's no protector there, he's not going to get that starting speed bar. So, I mean, that mechanic is pretty cool, actually. Yeah. So we have like another Captain Britain. Does it work on offense and defense? Oh my God. Could you imagine if that works on defense and counters an ally blaster? Or not counters his ally blaster, but counters your blaster by having their Thunderstrike on defense. Oh my God, please don't let that be the case. But yeah, the assist mechanic is not something to write home about, but if you want to know exactly case study example for that, would be Quasar. Quasar special calls in an attack, so like if against Professor X, use Quasar special, you're still going to get somebody to come in and do a big attack, and then you can actually get into a triple tap situation with your Quasar to take up Professor X's. It's very, very powerful. But it does not feed into the bomb burst mechanics in Blastar. I mean, it gives him a bomb burst stack, but it doesn't give him that 35% speed bar he gets on his passive.
When he's paired with Blastar, which is what we've been talking about this entire video. But what teams can we expect this new duo to be able to take on that Blastar couldn't handle alone?
W question, Pathfinder. W question.
Yeah, so he is going to be able to take on things like a Curse with Azazel, Starjammers, and a lot of those other like kind of powerful Crucible teams. But again, you're kind of in this weird situation with a duo because many of our more recent Crucible teams require at least 4 characters with their trait. Or even their entire team is with like Immortal X-Men or Starjammers. So, but we have another duo in Crucible right now in the form of Phoenix Force. So Phoenix and Omega Red Phoenix, and I'm sure people can figure out how to add a powerful 5th solo to a team like that. So, and also Phoenix Force might be getting some more characters in the future. So you'll have a trio and a duo to put together in Crucible. So definitely a lot of different teams you can make with Blastar and Thunderstrike. Again, leaves a lot of room for theory crafting. But yes, if you can find the correct 3 other characters to put them with, they should be able to take down a Curse with Azazel and Starjammers and those other really powerful Crucible teams.
Okay.
That's not bad. That is an upgrade. It's also not super interesting. Because if you just do the math on that, like enemy Phoenix Force teams is what people are primarily using their blast on right now. To some success, a lot of success if you're using it with Mephisto, for the record. The fact that it can beat Starjammers and a Curse is cool, but we have other teams that beat them, and those other teams do not beat the Phoenix Force team. So it will not change the math on your match selection, which is a problem, so it's less exciting, right? So, for instance, right now, Starjammers. Captain Britain plus Emma X plus, like, Blade, Songbird, another character faster than, I think it's like 121 or something like that. And you can kill the Starjammers before they get a turn. Really powerful, really good. Accursed. Again, you could use Captain Britain for that to stop these little speed bar, but you don't even have to. You just go in with characters faster than 129, and as long as you're bringing the right sort of burst damage, and you don't get stuck up on a health trigger from the Juggernaut taunt, you can absolutely debilitate that Accursed team before they get a turn. It's happened to my characters a lot. It probably happens less when you have diamonds on Azazel, or diamonds across the board, gear to 20 across the board, right? Which is very niche. I'm just having a hard time getting excited. I really want to know what you guys think about the kit that was kind of proposed here for Thunderstrike. Animations look beautiful. It is nice that it'll beat Starjammers and a Curse, though that probably just means you find them more on the offense again. Very curious. So what Thunderstrike is really missing to be excited is stopping speed stat. So he stopped speed bar before his turn. If he stopped speed stat before his turn as well, then I wouldn't. Cause so like if we try and beat Starjammers, we have to bring Thunderstrike, Blastar, and probably also have to bring Emma X. Otherwise, the speed stat they get if we don't come in with a Kahori to get us to go before them. Actually, Kahori doesn't work against Starjammers anyway because they stop speed bar. Yeah, it's just going to get really hairy. We're going to have to bring anti-speed stat in there. You got to remember all the different speed metrics. and how they are absolutely crippling Blaster's current use. And I don't think Thunderstrike addresses that enough. Interesting. I really want to know your thoughts, but let's finish this up.
Very cool. Well, I think that's all we have today. I guess I'll ask one final question. What are you most excited about with Thunderstrike, you personally?
That's a really good question. Honestly, what I was most pleased about is in our early pitches for Thunderstrike, where we were trying to figure out what to do with him. I was like, you know, I think it would be a lot easier if we just made him a support character. And I didn't expect that to really go anywhere. And it actually became really important for figuring out how where this character's footing was going. And it made it really easy to make him a duo for Blastar.
Okay, and
also looking down the road, Ryan Jacobson has already said like the Annihilation Saga legendaries are gonna go with Annihilus eventually to form this like Megazord character, right? So them getting a support character makes sense. Everything sounded like damage. It sounded like the only support thing he's really gonna do is kind of activate Blastar more and health steal to his team, but he's still gonna be a damage dealer. So I find that interesting.
you know, I think maybe we toss in a little spoiler, but I mean, he's a support character. Eventually, this whole team is going to come together, all these legendaries with Annihilus at the end. Maybe that lends itself to being able to support that team when it comes as well.
Yeah, I mean, currently he just supports himself and Blastar, but it's really easy to expand that to other things, but we'll see.
We'll see. I'm certainly looking forward to it, and it's always great to have you here, Byron, and thanks so much for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's so much fun doing a Strike Spot with you.
Well, I'm looking forward to the next one.
Me too.
All right, I really want to know your guys' thoughts on this. If you were a big Crucible head, what are your thoughts on that? I get a little iffy about it because, again, I'm not seeing him doing what I need him to do to make Blastar super good. The fact that Byron knows his stuff. Byron's a smart guy. The fact that he is saying it'll counter Accursed and Starjammers probably means it's going to counter them without needing to put too much more into the team. Probably some good characters, but not like anything crazy. So that is nice. But I'm just not sure it's going to match like the crazy creativity you have when you're in that like Masters Plus of the Cosmic Crucible scene. So that's going to be interesting. I really want to know your thoughts on that. And yeah, so you see, I hope he's not going to be as bad as Blastar is in War. Blastar is really bad in War. He's got to go fast though, right? He's got to be faster than 127 if he's getting a bomb burst stack to Blastar. That's the only way it makes sense. If he's getting a bomb burst stack to Blastar, they would want that to happen before Blastar's first turn, not for his second turn, right? You guys let me know your thoughts. All right, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like, share with your friends, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Talk to you guys later. Bye. That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.